very briefly like some basics about PySimAI, how you can use this to actually operate with your SimAI platform. So I don't know if any of you have already heard of or have already used SimAI at all or anything. So I'll just start assuming that this is kind of like something new as it is for kind of like basically everyone. And I will start with some basic um, introduction about SimAI before starting to get deep dive into PySimAI as well. Basically, Ansys is starting its AI Wave initiative. So basically, we will have within Ansys AI a bunch of like different features and other platforms apart from SimAI as well. SimAI is kind of like one of the many other products that we have. We have Ansys GPT, which is kind of like a chat GPT, like basically learning from the data that we at Ansys have and possess. And we also have different plugins that follow along with other flagship products, such as Fluent or Mechanical. Basically, for each AI-based features that we have for any of these different products, we will have a plugin called Ansys AI Plus. With that, SimAI basically will be as you know, so basically it will be learning from a bunch of geometries and other analysis results. And from what he has learned, he will build a model, and that model will enable the user to predict any geometrical analysis, like would it be structural with stress or von Mises deformations. It would be CFD predictions, like any basically turbulent flows, something like that. It would be any other physical simulations, and it is both non-physical and non-parametrical. So basically, it will be just learning from the different analysis that you have, and it will not be depending on the different parameter configurations that you will want to have beforehand your predictions and simulations. Without further ado, let's a little more deeper into PySimAI. So basically, PySimAI will be operating SimAI without using the browser, and it will enable you to automate all your different operations. Would it be starting from preparing your simulation results data and all the way down to predicting and getting the results that you want. So basically, at first, what you will have to do is, as any other PyAnsys library that you want to use, you will have the following steps. So basically, you will need to have your SimAI tenant. So basically, it will be an account that allows you to access actually your cloud platform, which is hosted on AWS. Then you will have to once again, like commonly to any other PyAnsys libraries, have to install Python, which is recommended to be 3.9 or higher, and an IDE of your choice. Would it be PyCharm, Spider, anything else? And as well, you will have to install the required PyAnsys module. So basically, in our case here, it would be Ansys SimAI Core. So basically, we will use like pip install Ansys SimAI Core, upgrade to have the latest version of the SimAI library. Once you do that, you will want to call a client session. So basically, what happens is you will actually want, I will start with this laser pointer. So basically, you will have a client, and this client is kind of like the entrance door to any of your operations that you would want to operate through SimAI. So basically, you will instantiate one object of a SimAI client, and optionally, you can also provide the organization where you are and the proxy if ever you are using a proxy within your company. Um, that being said, the client will be the house of all the operations, all the services that you want to use, and therefore it will also be hosting all the different objects, models that you want to manipulate. So basically what happens here is that you have your SimAI client, and within your client you have a bunch of data which constitutes your data lake, from where you can extract or upload data for learning, and then you will have a hierarchy of different projects, and for each project you will have different workspaces, each workspace possessing one specific learned ready model, so that you can actually input any geometry for your predictions. Once you do that, you will be able to browse and look into, explore the different lists of objects that you possess inside your client. So basically here, again, you have got one client with a certain configuration. Here, what you're doing is you're accessing a specific workspace within your client, within your client. And once you do that, you can actually look inside the list of geometries that you have. You can also redirect your client to point to a specific other workspace or project, so on and so forth. You can also, so basically you can get the list of training data. So that would be the list of data that you use to do your learning, and therefore build your model, so you can actually access your projects, your workspaces, and so on and so forth. Once you do that, so basically this is kind of like the descriptive part of PySimAI, so that you can actually just get into SimAI and look around to see whatever you have. But basically, SimAI is not for that, is it? It is basically in order to do the following steps. So basically, you will upload a bunch of data, a bunch of results that you have had. So in this case, for example, we are uploading a bunch of CFD results analysis. Then we are training some specific model based on the results that you have given as input to the model. And once the model is ready, you can input whatever geometry. Would it be a car? So basically here we had an automotive example here. So basically you will put any form of car. Would it be Ferrari? Would it be Volkswagen? Whatever you want. And you can extract the same type of results, the same field of results that you have given at the entry for your during your learning phase. So that would be your prediction stage. So the following pages will follow exactly the same workflow: uploading data, training your model, and predicting from new geometries. So first of all, you're going to upload the data. So basically what I've done here is just giving an example of what what the SimAI looks like in a browser. So here we are looking at the training data. We are looking at the data lake, which hosts all the different geometries data that you have collected for your learning. And as you can see, the data lake is kind of like the house for all the actual learning purpose geometries and analysis results. So you can extract any group of geometries and results here to learn in different projects. So how do you do that in with PySimAI? So basically, you're looking at that first, the upper part of this schema, and what is happening is, first of all, you're gonna take your client and you're gonna create different training data. So basically, you're accessing training data, and you're gonna say, I'm gonna create one training data, which is called my first data, and whenever you have a project, so basically you can actually create a new project saying like this is my first project, and in your project you're going to add your training data. So you're using td.add to project into the project. And once you do that, you are actually not only uploading your data in the data lake, but you are also specifying that you are intending to use this specific training data for this project in particular for new learnings. And once you did that for several different analysis results, what you want to do is you're going to build your model based on the different analysis results that you've collected. And in order to do that, what you do in the browser generally is you're going to do some model configuration. So basically what's happening here is you're going to give a reference sample, you're going to give uh, the different parameters that you're going to use as inputs and outputs, which geometries, which are the surfaces, which are the boundary conditions whenever you have some. You are going to define the domain of analysis. So basically, in which domain, in which field cube, you are going to perform your predictions. And finally, you are gonna configure, like define the duration of your building. So this is like you're saying how long is the machine gonna learn from the data that you gave. And to do that, actually, you can do all this within PySimAI as well. So basically, you are gonna have a model configuration sub-library, which contains all the different parameters, the different parts and subparts that you can configure through the model configuration. And you are going to define each of the different parts and areas that you want to define, that you would have defined the same way within the browser. And once you do that, you can actually affect your model configuration to a project. And whenever you see that a project is trainable, you can actually build your model from the configuration that you defined. And this is kind of like a best practice to do, because whenever you have a project, the project in itself could be deactivated or like obsolete. And basically what you're doing here is just checking that the training can be performed for a specific project. And this is kind of like a good practice to do whenever you want to perform that, automize that for release purposes. And last phase, you are gonna do some predictions once your model is configured. And basically what you can see here is, for example, whenever you see in the browser, you will see when you access one project, you will have a workspace within the project when your model is ready. And when the actual model is ready, the model will be affected to the newly created workspace. And within the workspace, you can add geometries with eventually some boundary conditions. Once you do that and you perform your prediction, you will have a bunch of informations like the confidence score, which is kind of like saying the model is pretty sure, like at 72%, that what he gave as results, as prediction, would be accurate. So it's not like the accuracy score by itself. It's kind of like the configurant, the confidence score, indicating how much, how probable the predictions would be accurate. You will have a bunch of global condition coefficients, which are also, as you have seen before, defined and described during your model configuration. And last but not least, your surface object that you would actually be able to download once the prediction is done. And once again, how you do that in your Python IDE. So basically, we are looking into the lower part of the SimAI client scheme here. And basically, so this is like the basics of how you can use this PySimAI for prediction. So once again, you have your client. You have looked into the bunch of geometries that you have had uploaded for a particular project. And what we do here is we are uploading two geometries, two files within a certain target workspace. And then what we're going to do is for each geometry, we're going to run the predictions. And as you can see, there are two ways to do that. First way is calling from the geometry by itself and saying, hey, run the prediction with a certain a set of boundary conditions. So these boundary conditions are, of course, optional. And same here. So for prediction 2, we are using geometry 2. And this time we're calling from the client. We're saying, hey, within the bunch of predictions that you have, I want you to create one that runs a prediction from the geometry 2 that we have actually uploaded just before with the same boundary conditions, for example. Again, these boundary conditions are optional. And once you have run your predictions here, you can actually call from SimAI, the client. You can actually say, hey, I want to get the list of predictions that you have run so far, and it will render the list of predictions that you have made. And getting a little bit more into details, you can, once you have run your predictions, as you can see, so basically what happens here is once you have your client and you have got a list of geometries, let's say we have 15 geometries that you have uploaded on a specific workspace, and you are only getting 4 of them. You are saying, hey, I want to say for each of these geometries, set a certain amount of boundary conditions, which are for velocity in the x-axis, for example, 12.2, 12.4, 12.6. We will say like, hey, we are having this set of geometries, this set of boundary conditions at velocity at axis x, and we are going to be associating them by a one-to-one mapping through this selection object. And once we do this selection as well can be able to run the prediction. So basically what happens here is instead of, as you have seen in the browser, running each prediction for each geometry one by one, what you can do here is group a bunch of a bunch of geometries with the set of boundary conditions, and you can run these predictions at a bunch, so in once actually. And once you do that, you can actually get the different coefficients, the different field results, and so on and so forth from the selection. So basically here, what we're going to do is from the selection, we're going to compute all the global coefficients that have been set in the model configuration. And once you do that, you can actually get for each global coefficient the data from the list. And once you do that, you can do this for any other result predicted from the predictions that have been run before. So basically, would it be for any other model coefficient, global coefficient? Would it be for field prediction, so on and so forth? So basically what happens here is I have just presented the basics of how to perform your predictions from A to Z, from scratch, using PySimAI. Actually, there is a lot of like a bunch more features that have been covered in PySimAI that I have not covered here in this presentation. But whenever you want to see some details, you can actually go to this link, like full documentation. It is at simai.docs.pyansys.com, version stable index HTML. And with that, I have ended my presentation. And if you have any questions, I will be glad to answer those.